Hello, Renee. Welcome to your reading, which I'm so excited and honored to do for you. My readings are a little different. This is something I prefer to record because this is something that you can watch over time. They are very potent and layered, and they give a lot of transmissions. I am a physical medium, which means I sense the physical sensations of people who I am reading for. And this is also why it is easier for me to record, because therefore I don't need to filter out as much, and I can sense what is happening on. Not all the time physical sensations come through, but sometimes, a good majority of the time they do. And so right away, I'm brought to my jaw, and it's just, it feels extremely tight. And when our jaw is tight, and now I'm also having a lot of heart palpitations. So when our jaw is tight, there is a lot of tension. We hold a ton of stress in our jaws from clenching, from grinding our teeth at night, possibly also just from going throughout the day when we have possible anxiety. The fact that I'm having heart palpitations and a little bit of trouble breathing, along with the jaw aches, tells me that there is some sort of anxiety happening here. So this is so it's beautiful because you'll be doing the sound session, right? And I can teach you how to do some of those breathing techniques. Now I'm even feeling it in my face, on my left side specifically, which talks to us about feminine energy and receiving help. So I, like a lot of people who I have been working with, it's very difficult for them to receive guidance in this, especially if you are one that works with people as well. It is more difficult to receive guidance and to receive the support, because we're so used to giving it to others. And so the invitation is for you to open up and to allow yourself to receive the transmissions that comes through for this, and for also your sound session, which by the time that you listen to this will have already happened, but will still be reverberating within your mind, body, spirit. So with that being said, this actually works better. Me reading for you actually works better when I don't know as much about you. So while I read what your meditation is and the intent of the meditation, I don't necessarily remember. And I think that actually poses to be more powerful, because this way you'll be able to see what comes through and what you set intention for, and being able to have, I don't know, it's pretty profound in the ways in which spirit comes through. So the first card that I pulled, they are cards with no words. They are just art images of beings on there. And I intuitively tap in and see what is bringing. God, the word hope has been coming through a lot. So I'm feeling that's for you. Because hope has been so loud. You're holding on to hope. Holding on to hope. That's the only thing that's left. I don't feel that necessarily. Anyways, okay, so the card that came out here is, okay. Again, this is just an art read that I am intuitively drawn to. This is so beautiful. First of all, the first thing that I notice is the yellow energy, which has to do with our solar plexus, our personal will. And the green energy has to do with our heart chakra, which of course is about unconditional love and expansion, love, empathy, and compassion. And There's a few things that come through. When I see this card, I see the inner child more so. So I'm getting chills all over. This is like a reminder to be playful. This is a reminder to tap into your inner child. And this can be difficult, right? Because so many of us forget the wonders of life. Now, this looks like a leaf to me. This looks like this younger version of self or child is in awe of the leaf that is kind of hovering over both of them. I feel that there is a protective spirit here, as this being here, which I do feel is the mother like, is also holding this rose. Roses represent purity. They represent the unfolding of humanity, and I see them as to the core of our essence. I don't know if you're familiar with Magdalena teaches, or Mary Magdalene, as a different than biblical teachings, obviously, because they left her out in the way that she actually was. Mary Magdalene, and I don't know what your belief systems are, but Mary Magdalene was one of the first. Well, there's a very different teaching of Mary Magdalene in Catholicism versus what I perceive. So we'll just go to, because not knowing what your beliefs are, there tends to be more of this like fierce and compassionate spirit that happens with Mary Magdalene. And she does represent the rose, because the rose is strong and sturdy and holds a ton of beauty, right? The rose is also, again, like I said, it represents purity and the essence of all that we are. It represents love, unconditional love, undying love. And so there is, okay, what I feel here, like this is really about you going to meet your inner child. And I feel that all things stem from our inner child, that because everything that happened to us when we were younger, even if we feel that we may have moved past those things, if there are circumstances in our life that continue to be on repeat or that are unresolved, especially within relationships and our parenting, there are constructs that were built in our childhood that continue to affect us today. So what happens then is we forget how to meet the needs of our inner child, right? Like how to be there and allow that inner child to feel safe in order to have fun, to allow that inner child to feel heard, seen, and loved enough to be its authentic self. And so doing like inner child work, or like within the sound session, we will do some inner child meeting pieces of our inner child. There is ways to dissolve and to deconstruct the protection that we feel. So a lot of the barriers and defenses that we have are to protect the essence, right? To protect the rose, the innocence. And what we find is that those protection and defense mechanisms actually prevent us from living in full alignment with our truth, because we're so our actions are based out of fear and protecting the inner child versus living. We live in a place of protection versus living in a place of living, because we're afraid to be seen. We're afraid to be in truth with ourselves. And so now this is coming through. So I just got into the physical sensations. So one of the ways that I use tarot and oracle cards is really, the cards are for subconscious belief patterns cards to me are a tool to unlock the subconscious. We are co-creators with the universe, and the cards allow us to see things that we kind of felt and we maybe didn't know how to put into words. So they help clarify, confirm, and be able to co-create in a way for you to make like empowered choices. Because once we can see a different perspective, we're able to actually make different choices. And I needed to say that at that time, for whatever reason, I don't know, it just came through. And so here we are. So I don't give yes or no answers, and I don't figure out about other people. I solely return it back to self, because self is the only thing that we can change. And the perceptions that surround how we are within the interactions and relationship to others is the only thing that we can really change. So at the core of that is the inner child. And that is why that's coming up now. So this to me feels like the green is very heavy and dense, and it has a lot of energy in there that, yes, is looking for this light. Like this inner child wants to break free. It wants to feel. It wants to go out, and it wants to play, and it wants to go explore the wonders of nature, like the magic in the mundane. And it's like this mother being is holding on close to this. It also feels like there is something here that isn't quite being shown. There is a darkness that this being is looking towards, but kind of like gazing off to nowhere. The fact that she is looking to the right is talking about looking forward. Also, that this child is to the left of us, right? Or she's not looking at it, is talking about in the past. So, or left behind. And this is just very interesting because, yeah, this speaks very much to the inner child and the aspects that are wanting to come out and play. And maybe the word control is coming up pretty strong. And that can be control of your emotions or controlling of, just not wanting people to see this part of you. Your true self. Afraid of allowing people to see the true emotions within you, which stems from childhood. So let's get some cards here from this. This is the Osho Zen Tarot. We have schizophrenia, which isn't actually about that, but I will explain more. So this is like the Two of Swords. Turning in. And then we have some that fell. Let's take those. Okay, so first card that came out, here, we'll move this ahead. Okay, schizophrenia, turning in, past lives, trust, and postponement. Can we see? Wow. Okay. So, what I see here right away, what spoke to me and what was like, wow. You're like in this transition, right? You're like in this, and 5 cards came out. 5 is the number of transitions. Chills. Okay. So these two beings have the same type of look on there, like looking to whatever. What is it that you're looking to, right? So here we have this feels like The Giver. You know, when the person, when the person, and I don't know if you've read The Giver or seen The Giver, but basically they live in a dystopian world, and the people the kids start experiencing life and, I'm going to cry, and joy. And they start to see color. And it's like they are afraid to let other people know that they see color because they're going to get consequences. And it's like sometimes we feel this blandness. We feel apathetic. And this doesn't, if we feel apathetic, like there is no, this is very emotional. Because we sometimes, we are deep feelers. We don't know how to regulate the emotions. We don't know if they will stop feeling if we really allow ourselves to feel. And so we kind of trap ourselves in this box, right? So here's a lot of the control that is happening as well. So it's like you're only postponing your joy by containing such a small view of the process, and whatever that means. When we think something should look a certain way, we actually are prohibiting and limiting the possibilities of what joy can look like. Here, it's like, now schizophrenia, as we know, I also have different views about schizophrenia. This runs in my family. I don't ever share things. Okay. That runs in my family. But sometimes, I do feel that people can see beyond our veil, beyond our world. They are labeled as or diagnosed as schizophrenic. And I actually feel that it is, can be a spiritual thing. And again, I don't know why. Maybe that's something that I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm trusting that that's something you need to hear. This card doesn't necessarily talk to the actual schizophrenia. I think that it's actually about it. Well, it is. It's about a in-between worlds. It's about going in between the veil. And because this being right here, right, is like holding on to one world, but while still having one foot in the other. It's also like, see these birds and the clouds, they represent messengers. Birds are divine messengers. And so this person is like dearly holding on, again, control, dearly holding on from one space, attempting to go to the other, but not really listening or seeing the messengers or messages that are coming through at this time. Which again, I think that this is part of this being's as well. It's not really looking to where they need to look. It's just gazing off in the distance. So this is then, so a lot of times, okay, no, I'm just going to go here. There we go. Okay, so I feel this is where you're at. This is where how to navigate these things. Tuning in, turning in. Because these two, all of these things talk about transition into a new way of living. A lot of times because we don't trust, right? We attempt to control how joy looks for us. We attempt to control what living or love looks for us. And therefore we postpone the trust. We postpone the happiness. And one of the ways, and turning in. So I will be hosting a weekly meditation class at Twisted Warrior, which I'm sure I'll bring up at your session today. One of the ways that we begin to tune in to ourselves, to our truth, to our intuition, to spirit, to creator, to source, to love, to all of those things, is by learning how to work with our minds and not fight them, right? So we become the observer versus attempting to, we become the observational awareness instead of fighting the mind. So becoming still, allowing how to work with the mind, allowing to let stillness speak, allowing to let silence get loud, allowing those things to happen. And here, so we have a lot of different voices and faces here, which could be also talking about the anxiety that you feel, right? And this is, if you resonated with me at all, I feel that you are here to break these generational cycles, right? Because how we are, again, talking about our inner child, because all of past lives or our generations, ancestors, they all passed down to us these constructs and these beliefs that prevented us from tuning into our true essence, into our authentic love, heart, space, truth, trust, all of the things. And so this is like the salamander, or is it a chameleon? It could be either. Oh gosh, I've never looked at that. The chameleon. So the stories from our generations telling us what makes us happy, or telling us like, oh, this is what you need to do in order for a happy life. That makes us attempt to become a chameleon into any situation that we're at. And we really kind of lose track of who and what we really truly want. The only way to come back to those things is by tuning in, by turning in, by going inward, silencing, slowing down, stillness, all of those things. And you're doing that already. So that's amazing. That's so beautiful. And then the way to, the only way to go through and move through these things, not to let go, right? Because letting go implies that you have no, it's a continuous surrender. It's a continuous surrender. So is to just jump. You just got to do it. You just have to start doing it, which is very tough, right? Like, oh my gosh, how do we actually do that? Well, you first by learning how to feel safe in the body, honestly, because I can tell you, okay, here are the steps to that, but really learning how to regulate your nervous system in stillness is so loud right now. This is where you can really find how to regulate your nervous system, how to find and be in your body and have that feel safe enough for you to actually take action, safe enough for you to actually be able to make those types of changes. So since we were talking about Mary Magdalene, I have cards here. Let's see what else comes through. Yeah, these are the Sisterhood of the Rose cards. Okay. Authenticity. Power of joy. And one more. Purify. Oh my gosh. Purify your thoughts. What? Come on now. Oh, and then free. Oh my gosh. This is. Then freedom is at the bottom. That's so cool. That's so cool because Look at the colors here. Your freedom is found in trust. The chains here, that's found in breaking free of these chains. Ah, that's really beautiful. So coming together here. Wow. Again, so what I was talking, like authenticity. This is very taking off the mask, learning to, like, look at all the layers that this woman has. Right, she is clothed fully, like she has this a very heavy looking cloak, coat, gloves, the mask. I mean, she's starting to take it off. And so this is where I feel like you're beginning to peel these layers. You're beginning to see what's underneath the masks of Renee. And here, like the power of joy, right? So this is kind of what I was talking about here. We think joy has to look a certain way, or like love and life, and we kind of attempt to control what that looks like. And by doing that, or by listening to what other people say about what makes us happy or what fulfills us, we lose sight of who we are, and we really limit the possibilities of what joy looks like. And what I love so much about this is that this, again, here is bringing forth this similar colors, right? We have the yellow here, and we have some of those like emerald and darker green tones there. So this is like our solar plexus has to do with our personal power, but not power over other, our power to, like the power to take action, to change perspectives, right? To deconstruct the beliefs that we are like fucked up. Because once we get to the space where we understand that in the mess of life and in the imperfections is really the divine perfections, the divine imperfections. Our imperfections are actually what make us like true to the essence of spirit. Spirit moves through us. God moves through us, through our quirks, through our perceived weirdness. Also, any of the like sabotaging behaviors that we have they're really survival mechanisms. They were again forms of protection in order for us to feel safe, and they were formed to get our needs met as a child. So they're learned behaviors which can be unlearned. Purifying your thoughts. That's what that is. Purifying your thoughts of that you are an inherently bad, like we can know, like, oh yeah, I know I'm like I'm a being of light, and you know, a lot of the spiritual stuff that they say in the community, like we can know those things, we can state those things, but like living and embodying those things are very different, and it's tough to bridge the gap. It's tough to connect those two with some of the constructs that we have been told. So there's so many paradoxes within the spiritual community, and then there goes the car alarm, which is divinely timed. Because so the alarm going off, right, when I'm talking about the spiritual community and some of the things that they say, because even in that, like, life is a polarity. All things, there's a scale, and sometimes the pendulum moves too far to one side. So even within the spiritual community, some of the words and the things that they state is for love and light is really like a bypassing. And so we can be like, oh, but I'm doing all the things and yet feel this emptiness and this void in here. And we can only see through things through the lens in which we've connected to our inner self, to our inner version of whatever inner child that is. So as much as we've connected and healed to that. So purifying your thoughts is like connecting to the inner child, connecting to the innocence of all that is, connecting to the joy within nature, or whatever, if you need to refine what brings you joy, then you can start doing that by doing new things. But again, feeling safe in your body allows you. Feeling safe in your body is one of the only ways that you'll be able to feel safe enough to begin to learn new things. Like some people do that by just like doing it and like seeing that nothing bad happens, and other people aren't able to take those risks and need to learn how to regulate their nervous system first in order to take those risks. So let's take a look. What else is next? Okay, so I'm gonna go through some keywords. I have these essential oil cards. They just go through and they state what type of oils would be good for you, but really that's not why I like these cards. I like these cards because they give triggering statements and what to say instead. So this one, the theme is unity. Instead of stating I am unstable, you can say I am aware. You are strengthening the connection between your energetic and physical bodies to help you manifest your goals. Holy shit, right? So like in transition from one life to the next, this is where you begin to like trust beyond what you thought was possible. Okay. Thank you. Okay, the next theme is integrity. Instead of saying it's their fault, you can say my thoughts are the cause of my suffering. As emotions rise, go within to see the stories and memories are fueling them. Then release what is not serving you with gratitude. Okay, next we have the word is purpose. Instead of saying, what is the point of this all? You can say, I am special. You have a unique place in this world with gifts and talents that only you can provide. Use your connection with the divine to share them. Wow. And the next one is intimacy. Instead of saying, this is too good to be true, you can say, it can only get better. Allow yourself to experience more joy and love. Raise your resonance by swimming in the sweetness of life. Wow. Wow, this is so freaking cool. This is so freaking cool. Let me take a look. We have the power of surrender cards. So, what are some things that Renee needs to surrender to move forward in this new life that she is embracing or coming into, having trouble embracing? Surrender to receiving support and love. Wow, which is the first thing that I said before I even started pulling cards, was that it's tough to receive support. And so there it is. Allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Surrender the idea that you can fix someone. It's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. So absolutely, right? Like what I've learned is that Okay, when I stop focusing on the other person, like, and I begin to just shift myself, when I begin to do those things, like most people are, not most people, everybody is a reflection point for us. So like when I'm attempting to, we'll just say my boyfriend, to be like, to have him see things my way, like, it must mean that what I tend to do is like, if I'm not strong in my beliefs and I know what I know to be true, like, then I attempt to persuade others. So what I'm saying is that we cannot fix others. We can shift the focus to ourselves and bring that internal intentional awareness to us, again, by tuning in. And it turns out that actually when we do that, other people shift. They have no choice but to shift. But I don't mean like, oh, I'm only going to change because I want this person to. This is just like when we authentically choose to look at ourselves versus the other person, there's something that shifts within the dynamic. All right, so the next one is surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to open up to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you could remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Sorry, I didn't realize. Let's see what else here. Surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. So, there are some very, very strong messages for you. I'm going to pull one card for a closing here as let's see. No, I don't want that one. Pause. Okay, so I'm going to use the Journey of Love. This is by Alana Fairchild. I love her. So one last card for Renee here. Let's take a look. What fell? Towering Magnificence. So let's see. You are entering the presence of the truly great and sublime divinity. It is without form, yet exists within all forms. It is humbling and yet asks nothing of you. It just is. And when we encounter it, we are moved beyond words, beyond mind, and into realms of the heart that we may never have experienced before. It takes a brave soul to meet the towering majesty of divine presence. It can be a terrifying experience as limitations, preconceived notions, and identities crumble in the wake of its light. You're being brought to this place out of love because you are ready. Your soul has been craving connection to something so much larger than life itself, to find something worthy to which you can devote itself entirely. The greatness is becoming available to you now. To be witnessed to the extent that is helpful, so that you may find the greater purpose of service which your heart craves. You are ready. This oracle brings you comfort that your inner path, your opening up to direct experience of the divine presence, is happening now, according to divine timing and grace. This is also confirmation that you are connecting with your spiritual guidance more consciously now, and that any sense of self that appears to be falling away from you now is because your divinity has outgrown it and new awareness is taking place. Mighty sentinels connecting heaven and earth, wisdom of the ancients, waiting for those who listen in the quiet. Wow, wow, wow. That just connected like everything. that was powerful. That was so beautiful. Well, I am very excited. So it's like you're awakening. Like, it sounds like the ego self is dissolving, and that like you're attempting to keep what you thought you once had, which is preventing you from being able to see the limitless possibilities that are actually available. You're being beckoned and called to like a higher purpose. This is so cool. This is so cool. And I feel grateful to be able to share this reading with you, and I look forward to hearing your response to this. I also look forward to seeing you later. So with that, I am sending so much love.